Admin.
Ndiyo dokta.
Wajumbe, habarini za mchana. Naamini tuko tayari, tunatarajia kuanza saa 8 kamili kwa saa za Afrika Mashariki. Namuona Profesa Ngoi.
Admin, naomba Angela, kuna kompyuta nyingine nimeomba access, naomba uniruhusu. Naona
na wengine wengi ambao bado hawajatujoin, lakini kwa wale ambao wako kwa saa za Afrika Mashariki itakuwa tutaanza kikao chetu cha saa 8 kamili. Lugha yetu ya kikao itakuwa Kiingereza, lakini hatuna limitation ya mtu akitaka kuuliza swali kwa Kiswahili au kwa lugha katika aidha Kiingereza au kwa Kiswahili, ili tuweze lengo letu ni kufikisha kuanzisha mjadala utatupeleka mbele katika fani yetu ya uhandisi. Na washukuruni wote ambao mmetenga muda wenu mpaka sasa hivi. Tunaamini kabisa baada ya kikao hiki tunaweza tukawa na maazimio mawili matatu. Mojawapo ni ya kuangalia ni maeneo gani mengine katika nani yetu ya akili bandia, artificial intelligence, ambayo tunaweza tukaendelea nayo katika mazungumzo yetu kuanzia sasa.
Hello.
Upande wa tutakapoanza tutamwalika msajili aweze kuintroduce the conversation. Alafu baada ya hapo mimi nitawaintroduce the two keynote speakers wa leo, ambao baada ya hapo wakati wa presentation zao ambazo kila moja itachukua dakika 15 tutakuwa tunakusanya maswali kupitia kwenye notes kwenye ile web chat, ambapo nitamwomba Engineer Angela aendelee kuya coordinate hayo maswali ili wale keynote speakers waweze kuyajibu katika the last part ya talk yetu ambayo tunatarajia itachukua kama. Kwa hiyo tunatarajia kuset aside about 1 hour kwa ajili ya talk yetu, na ninaamini through our registration tutapokea na maoni yenu kuhusiana na kilichojiri katika talk hii. Na vile naomba niseme kwamba talk hii itakuwa recorded kwa ajili ya future playback kwa constituents au wajumbe wetu, members wetu wa Engineers Registration Board. Asanteni kwa sasa, na tunasubiri muda ukifika tuweze kuanza our conversation rasmi. Asanteni sana.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, this is Dr. Manasseh, so you can identify me. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. It's now 2 p.m. We just are concluding one thing for about 30 seconds, and then we'll start our session.
No, it's okay. Kwa sababu I ran through computer concurrent. Hii nyingine I'll mute nitakuwa na kusikilizia.
Good afternoon. Habarini za mchana, karibuni sana. You're welcome. Bienvenue. It's a very important day today where we are having our first webinar, which is conducted by our Engineers Registration Board on a very important topic on artificial intelligence. I'll be the co-host of this and moderator of the session. Before I start this session, I would like to ask our Registrar of Engineers Registration Board, Engineer Bernard Kavishe, to speak few words, maybe a minute before now I take this opportunity to introduce our keynote speakers. If Dr. Kavishe, Engineer Kavishe, you're ready, you can take the floor now.
Hello? Hello? So I'm transmitting. Can you hear me?
While Engineer Kavishe is getting ready, I would like to take this opportunity to just give you the idea of how this webinar will be conducted. We'll start with the introduction from the Registrar of the Engineers Registration Board. And then there will be two keynote speakers. Each one will take about 15 minutes of presentations. And after that, we'll have about 20 minutes of question and answers. And after that, we'll have about 5 minutes to do a closing remark. So in total, we expect to have this session for approximately 1 hour. And the session is recorded and it's going to be available later through the ERB website. The idea is to get views from the members. Maybe later we'll have few more webinars around this topic and other related topics. Currently, the topic today is on artificial intelligence. And we have one of the best experts in this topic to talk about, who is Dr. Manasseh and Dr. Mwasaga. I'd like to invite Engineer Kavishe to speak a word or two before we start our session.
Okay, can you hear me? Hello? 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 Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Good afternoon.
We can hear you.
Welcome, everybody, and a happy new year. I will not take much time. I'll leave the rest of the time for this topic, which to us is very important, and I can only promise you it's going to be a wow experience. And with this attempt, we will learn from this webinar, and like Engineer Ulanga said, we are going to learn from it, and we are going to build from it. But from the ERB side, we are looking ahead to a year of many changes with confidence and with a lot of clarity. Karibuni sana.
Thank you very much. I think Engineer Peter Olanga is around. It's with great pleasure that we were able to attend this. As I said, that is going to be quite interesting. And maybe, as Engineer Peter Olanga said, then in the interest of time, I can share the screen and provide the presentation on today's topic. Can you see my presentation?
Not yet.
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Not yet.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we can see it.
Yes,
we can.
All right, thank you very much. As you said, artificial intelligence is quite interesting. My name is Emmanuel Manasseh, and would like to present this topic on artificial intelligence. But today, the most important thing is I'm going just to give an introduction and see the AI and its economic impact, but possible use cases, especially in Tanzania. And we'll try to classify the use cases by industry. We know that there's a lot of things to be discussed, but as our chair, Engineer Peter Olanga, said that this is the first webinar. We are just trying to set footprint, but we will continue with other webinars as well. So without further ado, let me give a simple introduction. We all hear about artificial intelligence, but what really is that artificial intelligence? In a very simple term, artificial intelligence means the use of computer and algorithm to mimic human intelligence, to understand, reason, and learn. It's true that to date, AI has been able to analyze content like documents, image, sound, movies, even to create content and to make prediction and prescription. But when you look at it, you see that key drivers, you see machine learning, which is a technology using sample data to train computer and program to recognize pattern based on algorithm. The second is neural networks, or sometimes also going to deep learning, which is a computer system designed to imitate the neurons in our brains. And another is natural language processing, the ability to understand speech as well as understand and analyze documents. And the last is robotics, which we've been with it for years, that the key issue in robotics is automation. So AI combined computer science and robust data sets to enable solving problems. So as I said, the key components that enable artificial intelligence is machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, natural language processing, computer vision, which helps in visualizing different images, and also the cognitive computing, which help to recognize various patterns. AI economy. AI economy refers to economic impact and transformation brought by a widespread adoption and integration of AI technology into various industries and sectors. As AI technology advances, they have a potential to significantly influence economic activities, productivity, and jobs. How? There are key aspects to consider when discussing the AI economy. Number one is how AI can help to increase productivity in various sectors, in various work that you're doing, the first thing to analyze is how AI can increase productivity. By increasing productivity, it means also it increases some economic factors, but also how innovation and new business models could be enhanced by the use of AI. But we know another thing which is very important is everything that we're doing in this digital world produces data. Then how do we use this data to make informed decision? Let me give a good example. If we're a bank, you collect a lot of data. Telecoms collect a lot of data. Transportation, regulatory bodies, they collect a lot of data. But are these data just shelved or partially used? But are they used efficiently and effectively to make decisions that drives the economy? This is the concept of AI. And then also global competition. How do we use AI and other algorithms in global competition? It is estimated that AI will contribute more than 15 trillion USD to the global economy by 2030. This figure is too big to ignore for any country, for any business, but also it is AI that is going to help business, governments, SMEs to be sustainable and also to meet and satisfy those that they're serving. Now, what are the use cases of AI that we want to talk today? I'm going to talk about consumer experience. We've now seen how customers' services could be integrated, especially chatbots and other techniques could be integrated to know and save the customer. For example, in banks, in telcos, but also government, other institutions, they can use artificial intelligence in their calling centers. Engineer Peter Olanga is using artificial intelligence as well in his business. But you see, most of the operators, they're trying to reduce the number of people, but also AI is very good at repetitive work. Sometimes the call center receiving calls for customers the whole day, sometimes to get tired, but the AI is very good and it can handle efficiently and effectively this repetitive work. But also consumer experience from analyzing data and see what really your customer needs. Because from the data of consumption and usage, it's quite easier to know which services the consumer prefers, and then you can use it with big data analytics and machine learning, which is a branch of artificial intelligence. You can easily predict how consumers need and their services. But also in supply chain, you can monitor the whole supply chain using artificial intelligence. Human resources, we can develop human resources using artificial intelligence. Fraud detection. Fraud detection is another area that is very, very important because in banks, in telecoms, there's a lot of transactions going on. But with artificial intelligence, you can recognize or you can identify anomalies or patterns that are not correct and immediately in real time correct that problem. So that's one of the biggest use of artificial intelligence, because it can analyze big data with this advanced algorithm and give you a clue of any fraud in, for example, in credit card as well, or in mobile money transactions, other banks transactions, you can use this. But also in communication, if someone is using something that is not correct, you can detect a fraud using big data analytics. But knowledge creation, artificial intelligence has developed to the extent that for you who are using ChatGPT, which is a form of generative AI creates a lot of contents, and these contents are valuable and can be used. You can create contents for advertisements, contents for business, various business, but also for, it can increase these local contents because by integrating and embedding AIs, you can generate contents. Netflix's video and the other things nowadays, they have hacked to the artificial intelligence in creating content. But knowledge creation, some of us were using ChatGPT also for translation. We use ChatGPT for learning. We use ChatGPT to ask everything and we can get some information. Sometimes it can also help to analyze the papers. But also ChatGPT is very is used in artificial intelligence in general, in research and development. Another is predictive analytics. Predictive analytics helps to analyze a certain market or sector and predict the next thing. For example, if you are a banker and then you are giving loan to your subscribers or to your customers who are requesting for the loan, you can look and analyze the history of the customer, the behavior, and then predict whether you should give the loan because the loan is going to be returned or not. So yeah, it's very good at predictive analytics. And predictive analytics is widely used. Not only that, even in capital market, in shares, how do you predict that this share is going to be up, this is going to be down? Where do you invest your money? Considering a huge and vast amount of data that we have, artificial intelligence can really help. But also in risk management and analytics, you can analyze risk based on the data that you're collecting and do the analytics and know how to mitigate some of the risk. You can get consumer insights, but also pricing and promotion is very easy to be captured in using artificial intelligence. So these are just a few cases, and we have mentioned, but I've tried to explain, but they are widely used in various sectors as well, not only the one that I mentioned. Now, I'm trying to figure out how this can be used by sector. For example, predictive analytics is almost used by all sector, government, financial services, retail, and SMEs. But fraud detection also, most of this dealing with transaction and business, they can use fraud detection to detect any fraud in terms of anomaly transaction or anomaly data or anomaly behavior in the system. I remember last time we had that, it was a say that, how do you ensure that each system that is used for financial services family is aligned in terms of transactions, and also that if there's any anomaly, how can it be triggered immediately and take action? So with AI, it can do the pattern analysis and give information about that. So it's fraud detection also is used, but real-time operation management also can use artificial intelligence to monitor your real-time operation that you're doing. Risk management also cut across many industries. Customer experience explained, research and development, but also cybersecurity threats detection. AI is dealing about big data, but connectivity is critical. So also, as we move everything to cyber, there's a lot of cyber threats. So you can use artificial intelligence, advanced algorithms for combating cybersecurity threats and also for detecting these threats. But another important thing, AI in tax administration. I decided to choose tax administration because something also that is of great value. Tax administration produces a lot of data, as we know. We're our revenue authority. Every business produces data. We have EFD, we have mobile money, we have merchants payments that they use credit card and various ways of paying. If this data could be analyzed critically, it's quite easier to know and collect the taxes easily. But also, if we can promote, for example, each business to have a way of paying using digital systems, it is quite easier also to deal with the return. Instead of doing the return the way it is done manually, it means we can just look at the returns from these numbers. But also, it can exploit data in a way that you can cover previously hidden assets and identify new risks, with the ultimate goal of reducing tax evasion and fraud as well. But more importantly, and which I consider very, very crucial, is Tanzania now, the mobile networks has really helped and extended almost over the country. And you can use even short calls or any other means to pay. So if all the business will have merchants number and pay by merchants number, any merchants that they're buying with some incentives, it means that just analyzing this data, you can collect the right taxes that are needed without thinking of reaching each and every business to counter check. I believe that monitoring is needed, but this one could really help and push forward the issue of tax collection and tax compliances. In the banking sector, as I've told you, we can use for credit card and loan decision, but also anti-fraud, risk management, but also stock market predictions, as I was talking about the predictive analysis, but also sales forecasting, trading, personalized bank, and also promotion and automation. In predictive analytics, which I've talked about it, there's statistical model, can look at consumer behavior using machine learning, using some patterns. You can do the scoring, you can visualize, you can look at predictive behavior and then make a decision. So it's with AI, it can help from data collection to make sure that you collect the correct pattern, but also to analyze the data to know the consumer behavior using machine learning and check out the pattern. You can do the scoring, you can do the visualization, and with these, you can do the well-informed decision. So in conclusion, because of the time, AI economy is dynamic and evolving concept, and its effects in society, on the society and the economy will be really high. And also AI technologies advances in a widespread, but we know that there are challenges like ethical concerns, job displacement, regulatory framework and shaping. This could be the future in order to shape the future AI economy. But artificial intelligence promises to address a multitude of pressing challenges in the society while unlocking significant values to both consumers and customers. So some businesses have long accumulated a substantial volume of service data, much of which have largely been untapped due to the absence of suitable softwares. But with AI and softwares, these data can give more insights, but more expand the business and meet consumer in a way that is with more efficacy. And as I said, in the future, we'll discuss other issues related to ethical regulatory challenges related to AI, and also for those who are interested in advanced modeling of mathematical modeling, and also modeling of various AI algorithms could be the future way. But today we wanted to unveil what AI can do in a nutshell. AI can make smart people to be more smarter and do great things. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Manasseh, for this very, it's brief but very detailed in a way. It has touched many aspects of artificial intelligence. In your meeting chat, I have already seen 2 questions related to what you have presented. The first question is related to something you said when you're concluding the legal aspects of and regulatory aspects of AI, which is, do data used in predictive analytics collected legally, and how is such data collected? Example, for someone who wants a loan, as previously stated in presentation as an example. And the second question is, how can biases in training data impact the fairness and ethical consideration of AI systems? And these are some of the things which are important. However, there's also a comment from Professor Alfred Ngowi, and we have co-presented somewhere else. So I would want also to hear your views. I would allow you onto the floor to speak for a minute or two a bit later. You've said that the presentation so far, it is clear that AI cuts across all sectors of the government, much as ERB has been proactive in sensitizing engineers towards adoption of AI, which is the policy of the government of the Republic of Tanzania. What is the policy of the government of the Republic of Tanzania on an AI? I can respond to this question. There is a work which is going on a digital economy, which includes one of the facets of digital economy on AI. It's still a spanner in the work, so we still have something to do. Yeah. With that, I would like now to take this opportunity, because I wanted us to have the last portion of our talk to discuss the questions and answers in their totality. I would like now to take this opportunity to ask Dr. Mwasaga to get ready for his presentation. And I did not introduce Dr. Manasseh, but I'm sure you all know his vast experience and has proven himself in this presentation. He has close to 20 years experience in the telecommunications sector, where now he works as a lecturer in Nelson Mandela African Institute of Science and Technology in Arusha. And there's a possibility to have subsequent webinars. I'm sure I'll properly introduce him. For now, Dr. Mwasaga, please take the floor for the presentation. And Dr. Mwasaga is the Director General of ICT Commission in Tanzania, and he's a promoter and coordinator of ICT activities in Tanzania and a member of Commonwealth Partnership for Technology Management. Please, Dr. Mwasaga, you have the floor for about 15 minutes.
Thank you very much, Engineer Peter, for this opportunity. I would like to present about the state of AI economy. I'm going to touch a lot of things globally and in our country so that we can have a bigger picture. Dr. Manasseh have done a very good job of laying the foundation on what I am about to present. So there's a saying which say that the one who is going to control AI right now in the world is going to rule the world. And this is because that we have reached a point where there is a combination of three things which the country which have advanced to that level, they can basically influence many things. We are in the time where we have plenty of data which are produced every day about actually many things. And also we have very strong computer science algorithms which are step-by-step procedures on how you can manipulate those data and get the insight of it. But the crucial part of it is right now we have a lot of computation in this world. To the extent that those countries which have invested heavily into computation, you find that they have edge over other countries in terms of AI. And when I talk about edge over other countries in terms of AI, is in the different realms, the realms of designing, realms of influencing other people, realms of getting an insight quicker than other people, and also on creating what we call them bots or robots. But when I'm talking about robot, I don't mean that the one that is shown in the picture in front of you, but softwares which they can create insights. And most of those software now, they're in our smartphones. They learn about us, and some other countries, they use that to influence people. The brief history, Dr. Manasseh touched it very well. It started in 1943, and starting from 2019, things accelerated because of those three things which I've talked about. Because initially, we used to have computation, but we didn't have enough data. Right now, we have a lot of data. And because of that, and advancement of algorithm or the way on how to mine the insight from the data, is enable some countries or some companies to be very powerful or competitive on what they do. This slide is pretty similar to what Dr. Manasseh said, but so I'm just amplifying what he said. In the inner part of it, we are looking at artificial intelligence capabilities, and the capabilities that we need to build upon is the capability of natural language processing. These are different capabilities, and it's good for engineers to know about it. Machine vision and sensing, prediction, decision making, and acting and actuating. But in the enabler part, there are a couple of things that need to enable this revolution. Just like I'll say, the big data systems which are able to capture this data and extract or unearth the meaning out of it. Another enabler is AI acceleration hardware. The hardwares, mainly they're in supercomputers where they're able to compute very fast into the data and get the thing that we want. And also there are things that have to do with learning systems, where Dr. Manasseh said very well, deep learning and reinforced learning, which is there. Once we have the enablers in place and learning system installed, then we are able to build the capabilities in those things like machine vision, sensing, natural learning, processing, acting, and predicting. Then once we have those capabilities, then we will be able to create many applications which are in the outer layer, like image processing, audio, video processing, and other applications that Dr. Manasseh have explained very well. So if we are looking for building our capability in our country, or for engineers to be able to take advantage of AI, there are three things that we need to do. And those things are: ensure that we have the enablers in place, learning systems, building artificial intelligence capabilities, and then we'll be able to do all those things. Now, I want to talk about an interesting part of artificial intelligence, which is generative artificial intelligence, because this is the one that is giving challenges to many countries now, and many countries, they find a way or looking on a way on how they can term generative AI so that they will be able to build their economy. Now, why generative AI? Because generative AI is going to give a lot of benefit to countries that will build their competence on it, especially in macroeconomic effects of the country. It's going to boost significant labor cost savings of many things, and also to ensure that the economy is going very fine. Unfortunately, this power of generative AI right now is in the hand of some few companies that they are enabled to use it in different way, in designing, in doing pretty much many things that initially they used to be done by a very competent human being. For example, the activities of like creating circuits, those that can be drawn now with AI without any problem. So generative AI is something that truly it gives challenges to countries. What is the size of economy? The size of economy is looking big, and it's going to grow as more use cases are discovered. One of the applications which has made generative AI very famous in the world right now is, of course, ChatGPT, but that is just we are just scratching the surface of the potentials that AI is going to give to any economy. Now, the impact of generative AI, like the way Dr. Manasseh have explained, it's in different sectors, because we still discover more use cases that are very useful to the economy, like in the banking sector, in the retail and consumer, and also in other places, marketing, sales, software engineering, and research and development. The trend also shows that it's going to grow. It's going to grow very much, and it's going to contribute a lot in the productivity from 0.1 up to 0.6 annually through 2040. It's going also to impact a lot in the way on how generative AI is going to be embedded into software that are going to be in many devices that we use, that are going to impact in different economies. We have many signs that they've shown that things are very good, and in some certain countries that they're going to have a very big benefit out of it, especially in generative AI. Like, for example, in the US labor productivity, it has shown that it's going to increase very much. The contribution of it in the GDP is going to be much more, and almost 7 trillion US dollars. So it's something that is very serious, and it's something that for the countries that they have adopted much quicker, they're going to have much benefits. Now, there is a map which depicts on how things are when it comes to adopting artificial intelligence in Africa. It shows that The countries, they have started to adopt it. Even our country is there, but we need to accelerate more, and I'll show what has to be done so that we can accelerate the adoption of AI so that we can increase or create effects in many things or many sectors of our economy. Major macro impacts have been shown in many continents. We can see that the total impact, like say, in Asia is 26.1. That's very big. In North America also is big. In our continent, we need to improve more so that we can benefit on that. And to improve more is based on what I've presented before. We need to ensure that we create the enabling environment. We have to get to innovate in the techniques which are needed and create many use cases. The use cases are going to improve our economy very much. So areas where we expect there will be a lot of impact of AI is transforming industry, enabling data-driven decision-making, economic growth and innovation, boosting productivity and efficiency, of which Dr. Manasseh have touched on that. Now, why are we talking about AI? We need to know and see the size of economy that are going to be affected by this. And looking at what in our region and in our continent, we have the market of like the East Africa. The size of it is, you can see it's in there. The collective GDP is $164.4 billion US dollars. I'm not saying that these are the size of the AI economy, but these are the economy that are going to be affected so much when the adoption is done by companies which are out of Africa or out of region, or if we are going to innovate and take advantage of the size of economy that we have. The SADC is 720 billion, so it's a big market. The COMESA and the African Free Continental Trade Area, which is 1.3 billion people, and the value of the collective GDP of it is 3.4 trillion. We need to innovate. We need to ensure that we build the capability of AI so that we are going to capture more benefits out of this economy that we have, and also to compete outside the continent or outside the regions that are there. Now, the contribution in terms of the region, I've explained to it, but the benefits of some other country that they get out of this is tremendous. Like in the United States, the size of it is 2.1 trillion. Great Britain is that amount that we've seen. That South Korea itself, the contribution is very big. So the innovations which are needed in digital technology, especially AI and other related technologies that are enabling it, are very important to be adopted very quickly so that we can get a big benefit of it. If we zoom down to our country, these are the some of the indicators which are showing that we are going to benefit if we innovate. The country is more connected. There's a growth of GDP. The tax to GDP ratio is not that bad. The broadband connection is 31%. Fiber to home Tanzania is one of the best 16 countries in the world that they're doing fine. So the innovation which is needed in AI is very important. AI needs connectivity, AI needs computation, AI needs data, AI needs algorithms so that can get more benefit. So the indicators, they indicate that we are going in the right direction, but we need to accelerate. And I'll show you what we are supposed to do to accelerate that. When it comes to the sector which are contributing to the GDP, our sector is contributing is 1.5. We need to contribute more, but the more we adopt AI, it means AI is going to touch all these other sectors of economy. It's going to touch education, it's going to touch transportation, health. So we believe that our contribution to the collective GDP of the country will be much more, because we are going to increase efficiency in all these sectors of our economy. So what we are supposed to do as a country, we have to do digital transformation. We transform ourselves much quicker so that to ensure that we term AI very well, we start to use it and it's bringing benefits to our economy. So what we're supposed to do, we're supposed to quickly or accelerate move from 3 stages of digital transformation. One is digitization, which we have done so well. We have many systems in our country. Stage number 2 is digitalization. This is involving to ensure that all Tanzanians, they have digital identity number and all systems are supposed to talk together. So this is a stage where we are now. Once we finish now, then we will start to see the benefits of AI, and we are going to have a lot of data. We are going to connect many parts of the economy. We are going to have a stronger algorithms which are produced from the country, and we build computation that is needed so that we can enjoy the digital transformation which is needed. So digital transformation is stage number 3. Stage number 1, we've done so well. Stage number 2, that's where we are. We ensure that the systems are talking together and everyone can be identified by digital ID number so that we can reach the stage number 3. Why stage number 3? Stage number 1, as you can see there, is in one of the benchmark that is measuring the digital transformation, which is used by a company called Huawei. Is the countries which are in digitalization, they call them starters. Countries which are in the level of digitalization, where we are now, we are adopters. And once you are in adopter, you start to see that the bigger growth of contribution of the GDP or the growth of GDP altogether. Once we reach digital transformation is where we are going to take advantage of all those things that, for example, the 5G, the big data analytics, the Internet of Things, which are the technologies that are needed in the AI economy. Now, if an economy wants to transform itself so that it can achieve AI economy, it needs to do a number of things. And this is applied to even companies. Once you digitize the core business processes in public sector. 2, you build a digital infrastructure of which Engineer Ulanga is doing very well into that, building the fiber backbone in the country, because AI need fiber, AI need network which has smaller delays, and we build capability, then to strengthen digital society and governance of our country. And that's why you see in our country now we have a ministry which deals with that, then to build robust AI economy, and also to improve access and use the digital services and technology. These are the steps which need to be done. So what can be done in the digital transformation? 1, to ensure that all Tanzanians, and in this particular case, we talk about all engineers, they're supposed to possess digital skills. And these digital skills, we categorize them into 3 layers. There's a basic digital skills, there's the intermediate digital skills, and there's advanced digital skills. So the engineers, all of them, they're supposed to be in a level, at least the intermediate and the advanced, based on the discipline that one is specialized. So digital skills is one of the pillars of digital transformation, so that we can enjoy AI as it's supposed to be. Number 2, AI systems, normally they work autonomously. So once we start to use those systems, we have to ensure that they are safe and also they can be trusted. So the issue of cybersecurity is very important in the AI economy. And that's why now we have a number of initiatives in our country to ensure that we build a cybersecurity, to ensure that there is a safeguard that protect people's data. And that's why you've seen that we have created an institution that is specializing on protecting personal data for people. So it is very important as a pillar to ensure that systems are secure and also they can be trusted. Without trust, there is no any benefit of AI that we can get out of it. Then there's a digital telecommunication services, because applications that Dr. Manasseh have well articulated, for them to be able to work, they need a network which has very, very low delays, or in a technical term, we call them latency. The lower the latency,
you have to wrap up to allow people to ask questions. So please,
okay. I'm winding up.
Okay, good.
Yes, so this is another pillar to have a robust telecommunication services, and then to have a digital public administration transformation to ensure that data are available. Data is very important to AI economy, and most of the data we all know that they reside in governmental institutions and data centers. So the open access is very important for that. And the last thing is digital research and innovation, because through innovation is where we are going to get all these use cases which are needed. And this is the last pillar of digital transformation. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mwasaga, and it has been such a detailed presentation. And in front of you, if you scroll through the chat, you have really raised a lot of questions from the participants, and we have approximately over 220 something participants. So there's a lot of work to do. So we don't have much time in terms of the time we allocated to ourselves, which was about 1 hour. We are on the last 15 minutes. I wanted to, at the beginning, I wanted to hear a comment from Professor Ngowi, Alfred Ngowi. If he's ready, I would like to hear his 1 or 2 comments on the presentation before I would like to ask both Manasseh and Mwasaga to respond to the questions which are on the chat. Professor Ngowi, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Program Director, and good afternoon to all engineers.
Good afternoon.
First and foremost,
Good afternoon.
I would like to commend ERB for organizing and hosting this webinar. And equally, I would like to commend the speakers, that is Dr. Manasseh and Dr. Mwasaga, for their focused presentations. And finally, on the same breath, I would like to commend all the participants for taking time to engage in this discussion. Chair, I'm based in South Africa, and I have been very closely associated with the establishment of the Artificial Intelligence Institute of South Africa. My institution, which is the Central University of Technology, is one of the hubs of the Artificial Intelligence Institute of South Africa. And we are specialized in agriculture as the main core, as the core, but we also do research in health, manufacturing, and tourism. So my input on this presentation, which is very, very timely, is that to ensure that this initiative is sustained, it is very important now to immediately start thinking about the next steps. And the next steps require that the engineers start getting their hands dirty, start getting able to apply this technology instead of just be aware of that. You'll understand that there are people who are aware of this technology, they talk about that a lot. But as engineers, we are practical people. We need to be able now to use this technology. So there are 3 areas, some of which has been touched already, where we can go in immediately. Number 1 is to establish an artificial intelligence learning and development program. This can be initiated by institution of ERB, because you don't need anybody else to come as a community. You can establish that and make sure that engineers go through those programs which have just been mentioned. The second one is to foster a community of practice for artificial intelligence in engineering. It goes hand in hand with the first one, but this is one where you are working with other people outside the Tanzania who are already ahead, and make sure that you create these communities and share that information. And then the third one, which has already been mentioned, is to encourage ERB members to pursue relevant online programs in artificial intelligence. There are already programs which are very robust, starting from basic, going to advanced level. I'll share with you one, which is hosted by the University of Helsinki. It's very basic, but it's actually very insightful, where it gives all the information about the artificial intelligence. So, Program Director, I just want to mention that I invite all engineers to work with us, because I believe if you want to move fast, you don't have to do things your own. You need to work with others who are already in the space or who are a little bit advanced in the process. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Professor Ngowi. I noted your name when you were joining the program, and I knew we had a person who actually could add a lot into our conversation, and you have proven me right. Thank you very much for your very good comments. I would now like to, because we don't have much time, I would like like to ask Dr. Manasseh. I'm sure you've gone through the questions in the chat. About 5 minutes to just respond to some of the issues you can. And after that, 5 minutes to Dr. Mwasaga to also respond to the issues you've seen in the chat. So I'll start with Dr. Manasseh. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. It's indeed a pleasure, and we're happy to see the number of participants in this webinar. I went through the questions, and I'll respond to some, and then Dr. Mwasaga and others will respond to what I said. The first, do data used in predictive analytics collected legally? Yeah, data is collected legally. I gave a good example of a bank. If you're working on a bank, all your transactions are recorded. But if you are depositing, doing business, it means everything is recorded. And for the BI intelligence, it's quite important to analyze this data to see what strategies to put in place. Now, I was talking about, for example, predictive analytics when you are taking a loan. Now, the system that is in place, it just look at interbank loans that you have, which is it's a regulatory tool anyway. But imagine you are an SME, or you started to you are a faithful customer of a certain bank. Your deposits, your withdrawal, how your business grows. Should these analytics not help you when you ask for a loan to expand your business? So with artificial intelligence, you can analyze the previous data, but also from the business model that you're submitting to request for the loan, they can easily predict whether you're going to default or not. So that's the advantage of using artificial intelligence. But also predictive analytics will be used in telecommunication. Before they extend their network, they can do some predictive analytics based on the data of usage, for example, of network in some places. And then they see that this grows, and looking at the past patterns of usage of technologies like 2G, 3G, 4G, they can easily see that in this place, being rural or the way being strategic, they need to have more robust network or expand the network and coverage. So all these predictive analytics, they use the data that they collected, and then they can forecast the future. So it's legally done. And in some places, you can anonymize based on the, now we have the Data Protection Act. You can anonymize some of the parameters that identify a person and still do the predictive analytics of the sector. Yes, I like what also Engineer and Professor Ngowi said, that it's time for us to get our hands on. Let's get our hands dirty, because one of the most important things that we need to know, in the year 2000, there was something that was very common called redundancy. That is when computer was entering and most of the people were laid off. But that doesn't mean that new jobs didn't come. So there's job displacement and replacement that is going to happen as we adopt AI, but doesn't mean that AI is going to replace all kinds of jobs or all types of jobs. It's going to create new jobs as well. I remember when we left the typewriters and everybody's using computers, you know, those who were using typewriters, they didn't have jobs. So we don't need to get scared of adopting AI, but we need to get our hands dirty to make sure that we reskill, upskill, and ready to use these skills to develop AI tools that we need. Someone asked me also in the chat that, do you have some experience of AI? Of course, I use the AI different developments that I've done in the past from regulatory aspect, but as well as in my studies. I remember when I was doing the estimation of signals, that is a bit advanced. We have to use some traditional methods, but nowadays you can even embed the AIs to predict the quality of signals and channels estimation. More importantly, as I said, and Professor Ngowi said, AI cuts across all businesses. There are some business they will adopt, but there are some who are going to be developers and the frontiers in making sure that things happen. And each business, in a way that will not adopt AI, it will just be like those days, those businesses that didn't adopt the use of computer. I think most of them failed because everything was computerized. But now, everything as we move to digital transformation is going to use AI. So AI is the way forward. Regarding the issue of ethical issue, responsible use of AI and AI policy, these are critically important. We need to have responsive and ethical use of data when we talk of AI. And this goes through the regulatory policy and regulatory framework. So I agree that we need to have a policy on AI or AI, national AI strategy or AI, national AI policy to get that one. But Engineer Olango will talk about that. But also, we need to have some guidelines on responsive and ethical way of using AI. But most important for today webinar was to demonstrate what AI can do and also showing you the economy, AI economy, and how we need to get prepared to jump in and be part of it. We understand some of there's the pros and cons of AI, but I can assure you that that's the way forward. We need to move, we need to get our hands dirty and work on it. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Mwasaga, if you can join in and be brief, please, because we are now almost over time. You have 5 minutes and we have 4 minutes of our session. Dr. Mwasaga.
I have read all the comments, so I'll summarize them. The protection of data, it needs to be protected. As a country, we have create an institution which does that, and that's one of the preparation to go to the AI economy. The issue of developing, there are Tanzanians I know who are developing, but like the way I've said it before, for us to take full advantage of AI, we need to build capability of ensuring we have enough data in our country. To ensure that the algorithms are created by, if possible, startup companies in Tanzania or universities or other research institutions. And also number 3 is to ensure that the part of the computation is done in the country, if possible. Many people are creating applications now. Most of the data is not in the country. They use data which are there. And many people are using ChatGPT. They don't use local data. They use our data, but they are residing somewhere else. And you find the algorithm is created by a certain company, and also the computation part is done in those countries. So they have, once you use those applications, they have edge over us. The opportunities are many, like the way Dr. Manasseh have said, there are many use cases and more use cases will come, especially in engineering field. The areas of designing of different things, you find that most of the things, or an expert engineer can be helped by AI to do the work much, much better. The requirement are those 3. If it's going to replace human being, what we are looking at now is not replacement of human being, but what we are saying is when you have AI and an expert engineer, we are going to have more productivity. So we look at how AI is going to complement your work so that you can work even much better and increase the productivity of what you are doing. Availability of data, that's why we have a data protection law to ensure that our data are residing in our country. Once the data is not in the country, you give the competitive advantage to a person that's having it. Employers who are discouraging AI, they need to change, because AI is here to increase the productivity. AI is going to ensure that things which were accomplished for 1 month, nowadays they can be accomplished even in a day, if you're using it very well. There's someone who asked if Tanzania is, if you want to measure how ready it is, look at those 5 pillars. Look at digital skills, look at cybersecurity. Tanzania is number 2 when it comes to cyber in Africa. Look at telecommunication services. The fiber to home project is very good because we need such a kind of infrastructure which has smaller latency. The accessibility of data, we are working on that, and the issue of innovation, we have innovators, but the infrastructure which enabler has to be in our country. So with these few things, I'm very thankful for this opportunity. for listening to me and to comment on some of the questions that have been asked. Thank you, Engineer Peter.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mwasaga. Thank you very much, Dr. Manasseh. This has been the shortest 1 hour I've ever experienced in my recent memory. And there's a lot which we could continue to discuss. I'd like to share some few anecdotes. I had a friend who 5 days ago, using the ChatGPT DALL-E, made a coloring book of 50 pages in about 3 hours. And this person is not an artist. It's just us using prompts to let ChatGPT do the drawing. So the whole coloring book of 50 pages was made in couple of hours, compared to what it would have been if it was not for the use of AI. And these are the productivity gains we are talking about. We're talking about capability of editing reports, reading, getting summaries, being able to get insights of the details of the information. And these are the tools which are currently available. And I'm sure with the release of ChatGPT 5, which is supposed to happen sometime later this year, we're going to see even more productivity gains. This provides opportunity to all of us, particularly as engineers, to be able to incorporate these high productivity gains in our designs, in our supervisions, in our calculations, etc., or sometimes even in looking for mistakes or errors we make during what we do as our work. So this topic is a beginning of a much broader conversation on artificial intelligence. And from the interest I have gathered from this conversation, I would ask ERB to allow us to have a subsequent webinar with the same experts, including few others who are going to join us in this conversation, and we'll make this continuous conversation. And I would like to, as my parting remark, to say what Professor Ngowi said, that we should get our hands dirty. Let's use AI. And in terms of a confession for us, I work for TTCL, we want to incorporate use of AI later this month so that it can increase our productivity. We're also responsible for ensuring people have broadband access across the country. We're doing that so that we are not left behind as a country, as an economy. Before I close this session, I should ask the registrar, Engineer Bernard Kavishe, to join us and say some closing remarks before before we close this session. Engineer Kavishe.
Okay, thank you again. I hope I'm transmitting. Thank you. Thank you. As I began with wishing you a new year and promising you a lot of new things from ERB. Our motto this year is 3 C's: change, confidence, with a lot of clarity. So this is one of those changes. And I hope maybe I should thank for a very big attendance. And maybe we have not satisfied everybody. As I saw, one of the questions was asking, what is AI? Maybe the next webinar should be a bit simpler, should be about the literacy, about about the ABC of AI. But I hope we will all join into this bus. We will not be left behind, and we will work on the feedback we are getting from this. And I will specifically request Professor Alfred Ngowi to share his expertise and to communicate with ERB on the next steps. I also noticed my chair is here. If you can give him half a minute, he can greet his community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Registrar, for your remarks. I would now like, with the greatest pleasure and honor, to invite the chairman of ERB, Engineer Advocate David Menyemanga. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Engineer Peter Olanga. Thank you very much, Registrar. Much thanks to the presenters, Dr. Manasseh and Dr. Mwasaga, I think this has been a very, very fruitful presentation and eye-opener. Looking at the number of questions, it shows that there's immense interest in the subject matter. And I want to concur with the registrar that we probably need some more webinars so that the concept of artificial intelligence is ingrained in the engineers. We will be the movers of artificial intelligence at the final analysis. I also want to thank you, my friend, Professor Alfred Ngoi. I think he's speaking from South Africa. Thank you very much, Professor, for participating, and we are looking forward to engage and interact with you much more in the webinars to come. With these short remarks, thank you very much, Peter, and your committee of Dr. Manasseh and Dr. Masaga for this landmark presentation. Let's now go to the smart city, government city, as we promised. With those remarks, I say thank you and wish everyone a happy and prosperous New Year of 2024. Asante sana.
Asante sana. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for your remarks. Again, we would like to get comments from participants on areas we can improve on this presentation. And like our chairman has said, there are a few other topics we would also want to cover, including the one on smart cities and other few areas, to just share the knowledge with the engineering community on areas of development in the coming few years in the light of the fourth industrial revolution. I would like to take this special opportunity to thank ERB for organizing this very important webinar and for asking me or tasking me to be the moderator of this webinar. And in a very special way, I would like to thank the presenters, Dr. Masaga and Dr. Manasseh, for your very good presentation. I acknowledge the very good inputs from Professor Ngoi. We should have had you also as one of the presenters because your remarks have been very, very monumental in our conversation. And this very special thanks go to all the participants who have set aside your time to be part of this very important presentation and webinar. If there was a question, yes, there are 2 PDUs for all the engineers who have participated, so ERB will organize that. That's why it's important to do the registration, and please send your remarks and comments on the performance of this webinar so that it can be improved in our subsequent webinars. With those remarks, I would like to thank you very much, and I would say goodbye and a happy New Year 2024. Thank you.
We will upload the presentations in our website.
Thank you, Registrar.
Thank you, Engineer.
Thank you, Registrar.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Engineer. Goodbye.
Thank
you.
Asante sana.
Bye. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Asante.
Asante sana. Thanks to all presenters.
Thank you.
Asante sana kwa presentation nzuri.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
And mute.
Asante sana.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer. Thank you very much.
Thank
Tia video, tia nani hapo unmute wa.
Asante sana kwa presentation nzuri.
Video. Sio kama hapa tupate video mbili.
Goodbye. Tunasikika. Bye bye.
Asante. Thank you everyone, and see you again next time.
Unaingia wapi?